Now before this video starts, I just want to say that this was an incredibly difficult topic to cover, not because of the content it included, but rather the lack of content I included. So I'll basically try my best to snuff out all the details and try and explain them in a bit more depth from what I can see, but there really isn't much information on it. So to get around this, I've sort of had to, through one sentence, I've sort of had to go into a little bit more detail about the background of some countries and why they block things. For example, North Korea with Kim Jong, and then Iran's got a little bit of background, but you'll see in the video anyway, so hopefully you do enjoy this one the best you can. And we are back with another video, and today guys, we're talking about government bans on the YouTube Iceberg Tier 1. So like, subscribe and enjoy. Now by government bans, I presume this means the way that YouTube is censored or completely banned in certain countries. Now, as YouTube is one of the biggest video and streaming platforms, it's right to assume that there's a lot of things going on at the same time by billions of users. Now, some countries have combated this by basically censoring or banning YouTube altogether for reasons like people uploading videos about famous leaders, religion, and religious leaders. And some countries don't like this, so they either decide to block a ton of things in other countries and also just ban the platform completely. So we're not really talking about countries censoring YouTube. We're going to talk more about the countries that have actually banned YouTube and or parts of YouTube. Now, some countries also may ban YouTube in their country due to other things like violations of laws, which include copyright, hate speech against ethics and moralities, and basically national security legislation. They might also prevent access to videos that are that can't be viewed by youths, so adult videos on YouTube, going back to that YouTube apocalypse thing, that kind of stuff, adult content. And also businesses, schools, government agencies and other private institutions might often block social media sites, but this is mainly parts of countries. This won't be the whole country. Now we're just quickly focusing on 4 main countries, and this is China, Iran, Syria and Turkmenistan, all of who have completely banned YouTube from their country. Now, some countries have had access to YouTube blocked before, and there's quite a few. I've got a little article up here, as usual, and I'll just list these countries off. We've got Afghanistan, Armenia, Bangladesh, Brazil, Denmark, Finland, Germany, Indonesia, Libya, Malaysia, Morocco, Pakistan, Russia, Thailand, Tunisia, Turkey, the UAE, Uzbekistan and Venezuela. As I said before, we're basically just going to talk about the countries that have blocked it, and there's a few more than the 4 I've just mentioned. You've also got Eritrea, North Korea of course, why not, Sudan, South Sudan, Syria and Tajikistan, if that's how you pronounce it. Now YouTube was first blocked in China from October 16th, 2007 to March the 22nd, 2008, and then it was blocked again in March the 24th, 2009. And since then it's been inaccessible from the mainland of China. Now it can be accessed through, let's call it a proxy. Okay, it can be accessed through Hong Kong, Macau and the Shanghai Free Trade Zone with VPNs. Now looking for YouTube in China, in mainland China, through basically the Chinese version of Google, Baidu, it basically comes up saying, oh, you can't access this because some content has been blocked, and there will be absolutely no results for YouTube when you search it up on the Chinese search bar. Now needless to say, even though YouTube is blocked in China, many outlets still have social media accounts on there, including CCTV, which is China's central TV station. Now, in spite of this ban, Alexa actually ranks YouTube as the 11th most popular social media site in China. That's a lot of VPNs. A lot of VPNs. Now we're just going to go through Eritrea really quickly. It's been blocked since 2011. YouTube's been blocked in Eritrea since 2011. And this was mostly due to bandwidth considerations. Nothing special about it really. Now on December the 3rd, 2006, Iran temporarily blocked access to YouTube and a lot of other sites. This happened because a video was uploaded to YouTube, apparently showing an Iranian opera star included in a sex tape. Fancy. So the block was later lifted after the 2008 Iran elections. However, 4 years after that, they reblocked YouTube again. And this was because and you'll hear about this one, there was a film trailer that got onto YouTube called The Innocence of Muslims, and apparently it was very offensive. It was very offensive. Now 4 years after that, on January the 17th, 2016, some people actually found out that YouTube was unblocked. And then it got blocked 2 days after that because too many people found out, and the Iranian government thought, get rid of it, get it out of my site, send it to the gallows, do what you want with it, chuck it down a cliff, I don't care. So yeah, it was basically lifted from schools as well after this time, for school kids to use it basically for educational purposes, which is fair enough. It's fair enough, right? Now, a lot of startups happened on this website too, such as some TV shows. Some celebrities went on there from Iran, and some politicians went and talked on the YouTube for a bit, as it was all for educational purposes, which is one way of getting around the ban, I guess. We now move on to North Korea, and we all know who leads that country. Yes, it's good old Kim Jong-un. Yeah, and he's basically blocked everything. Now I'm pretty sure that North Korea only has about 12 websites, and these websites are mainly just news websites, and a lot of them don't. You know how in many other countries the media basically tends to slander people and things. North Korea is just primarily based on news articles such as praising Kim Jong and all that stuff, religious stuff I suppose. Now of course YouTube has been blocked by North Korea. I couldn't think of a reason why they wouldn't block it. Yeah, it's pretty mean though, isn't it? It has only been blocked in the recent years. April 2016 YouTube was blocked, and basically anybody who tries to use YouTube will be punished. Now it's a new day and I'm tired as shit. I just woke up from a nice nap while watching a Ricky Gervais movie, and I decided that I should probably do the rest of this video. I mean, it's going to be on the same video anyway, but yeah, I look hella tired, and I am. So we're going to go through the rest of these quickly. I'm just going to read out what I've got here. So basically, we got up to North Korea, I'm pretty sure we did. So Sudan also blocked YouTube in their country. This was following the 2010 presidential election, in which an advertisement was put onto YouTube. This video basically showed National Electoral Commission workers in official uniforms and a child in a region called Hamashkarib filling out some voting strips and putting them into ballot boxes. With one of them basically expressing the relief that the voting period was extended so they could finish their work. I mean, it was also blocked in 2008 for some reasons that people don't know about. And then again, going back to, I think it was Iran. Yeah, going back to Iran, it was also blocked because of that movie, Innocence of Muslims. It was blocked because they didn't remove this Innocence of Muslims anti-Islamic film, but it was lifted a bit later on. Now, as well as Sudan, you've also got South Sudan, who also blocked YouTube because of this Innocence of Muslims movie. There's not much more that needs to be said about that one. Now we move on to Syria. Syria stopped filtering YouTube, Facebook and Twitter in February 2011, and earlier on in the Syrian war, on 3rd of June 2011, the government basically shut down the country's internet network. So since the Arab Spring in early 2010s in the Middle East, this has basically caused a lot of conflict within the country. Next up we've got Tajikistan, and in July 2012 YouTube was blocked, just basically in response to videos that showed protests against militant clashes, and it was only lifted 8 days after that. In that same year, videos depicting the president Emomali Rahmon were depicted on YouTube, and they basically blocked the website yet again because these were all deemed offensive videos. It was then unblocked after that, but then again in 2013 it was once again blocked because there was another video involving the president, which sounds pretty cool, which basically depicted him dancing and singing out of tune at his son's wedding party in 2007. So you know those embarrassing family videos that people put on the internet? This was basically the Tajikistan version, just the president singing and dancing at his son's wedding, which I believe is quite sweet. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, obviously he's not got a sense of humour, but what can you do? Now, last but not least, we have Turkmenistan. Now, Turkmenistan blocked YouTube on December the 25th, Christmas Day, 2009, for security reasons. And there's only one ISP in the country, and this is called Turkmentelecom. That's a mouthful, isn't it? And this was basically just blocked for security reasons. by the only ISP in the country. And other websites such as LiveJournal were also blocked in Turkmenistan. So yeah, that was basically government bans on YouTube throughout the world. Now this was incredibly difficult to talk about. I was tired as shit while making this. There's not much information on anything. You can only really talk about each country for 1 or 2 minutes at a time, if that. The reasons in which the countries banned YouTube are just all over the place. Like this, you can't really get around it. It doesn't really give you any actual dates. It just says for some of them, yeah, this was blocked in this date, and then unblocked again, and then blocked again for another reason. And it was just incredibly difficult to try and get something out of this to speak about and keep it interesting, because it was just like, yeah, blocked because of this, blocked because of that, that's why, end of story. And it was just, yeah, very difficult. So yeah, with that, that's just a quick explanation of government bans within different countries. I hope you enjoyed this one. I'm going to try and I have tried to include as many pictures and stuff to keep it interesting. Now this is one of the more difficult ones on the iceberg to talk about, and luckily we've got through it to some extent. But I've got to look up this thing for you guys, so it's out there. And if anybody is interested in YouTube censorship in countries, then they can come straight here and watch this video. So yeah, thanks for watching this one, guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.